Welcome back to AI Search Explained by Rank for AI. I'm Adam Parker, and I'm here with my co-founder Jimmy Connoley. Today, we're tackling something that's affecting thousands of UK businesses right now: why your business entity is essentially invisible to AI recommendation systems. If you're wondering why ChatGPT, Perplexity, or Google's AI overviews aren't surfacing your business when they should be, this episode is for you.
And this isn't theoretical stuff. We're seeing this pattern across every audit we run at Rank for AI. Businesses that rank well in traditional search are getting completely bypassed by AI systems, even when they're the obvious answer to a user's query.
Exactly. Through our research into how these AI interpretation systems actually work, I've identified what I call the entity gap, the structural difference between how Google's traditional search understands your business versus how AI recommendation systems interpret and surface businesses.
Right, but let's be clear about what we mean by invisible. We're not talking about businesses that aren't online. We're talking about established companies with websites, Google business profiles, even good traditional SEO. But when someone asks Gemini or Claude for recommendations, they simply don't appear.
The core issue is that AI systems don't crawl and index the way traditional search does. They're working from training data and real-time retrieval systems that prioritize very specific signals. In my experiments across ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini, Claude, and Copilot, I've found they rely heavily on what I call entity coherence, how clearly and consistently your business identity is represented across their accessible data sources. So what does that actually mean for a business owner? What are these systems looking for that traditional SEO doesn't cover? Three main things. First, structured entity data. Not just your NAP details, but comprehensive business information in formats these systems can easily parse. Second, contextual authority. Mentions and references that clearly establish what your business does and why it matters. Third, semantic clarity. Using language and terminology that aligns with how people naturally ask AI systems questions. The semantic clarity point is huge. We've seen businesses that do brilliant work but describe their services in technical jargon that doesn't match how their customers actually search or ask questions. Perfect example from a recent audit: a facilities management company that described themselves as providing integrated building maintenance solutions. When we tested queries like office cleaning companies near Manchester or building maintenance services, they weren't appearing in any AI recommendations despite having strong traditional search presence. But they were getting found when people Googled those exact technical terms. Exactly. Traditional SEO was working fine, but AI systems couldn't connect their formal business descriptions with natural language queries. The gap isn't just about having information available, it's about having it in the right format and language. So how do UK businesses actually fix this? Because I'm guessing it's not just about updating their website copy. It goes much deeper. First, you need to understand how AI systems access information about your business. Unlike Google's web crawlers, these systems pull from multiple sources: structured data, business directories, review platforms, social mentions, news articles, even training data from years ago. Which means you can't control it the same way you control your website SEO. Right. But you can influence it systematically. Start with your structured data markup, schema.org markup that clearly defines your business type, services, location, and key attributes. Most UK businesses either have no schema markup or it's incomplete. And this needs to be comprehensive, not just the basics. We're talking about detailed service descriptions, operating areas, business attributes, everything that helps an AI system understand exactly what you do and for whom. Then there's the consistency issue. In our audits, we regularly find businesses with different names, service descriptions, or contact details across various platforms. AI systems struggle with these inconsistencies in ways that traditional search engines handle better, because they're trying to match entities across different data sources, and if the information doesn't align, they lose confidence in the recommendations. Exactly. When Perplexity or Claude sees conflicting information about your business across different sources, they're more likely to recommend competitors with clearer, more consistent entity profiles. What about local businesses specifically? Are there particular challenges for UK companies operating in specific regions or cities?
Local entity recognition is actually where we see the biggest gaps. AI systems are inconsistent at understanding UK geographic nuances. They might understand London perfectly, but struggle with Greater Manchester or specific boroughs and postcodes.
So a business that's dominant in their local area might be completely invisible when someone asks an AI system for local recommendations?
We've seen this repeatedly. A client dominated traditional local search for their service area, but when we tested location-based queries in ChatGPT and Gemini, they weren't appearing at all. The AI systems were defaulting to larger, more recognizable brands with clearer entity profiles. That's frustrating, but fixable. What's the practical approach for addressing the geographic recognition issue? Multi-layered location strategy. Your business information needs to include not just your primary location, but your service areas described in multiple ways. Formal area names, common local terms, nearby landmarks, even postcode ranges where relevant.
And this goes in schema markup, Google Business Profile, directory listings, everywhere your business information appears online.
Plus, content that naturally incorporates these location references. AI systems are looking for contextual clues that confirm your geographic relevance, not just technical location data.
Let's talk about the authority piece you mentioned earlier. How do AI systems determine if a business is worth recommending?
This is where it gets interesting. Traditional domain authority and backlink profiles matter less than what I call entity mentions, references to your business that provide context about what you do and how well you do it.
Reviews are obviously part of this, but what else? Industry publications, local news mentions, professional directory listings, case studies, even social media discussions. AI systems are aggregating signals from across the web to build confidence in business recommendations. But not all mentions are equal. A brief directory listing doesn't carry the same weight as a detailed case study or news article. Exactly. Quality and context matter enormously. A mention in a relevant trade publication that clearly describes your expertise carries more weight than dozens of generic directory listings.
This sounds like it requires ongoing effort, not a one-time fix. How should businesses approach building this entity presence systematically?
Think of it as entity SEO rather than traditional SEO. You're not just optimizing for keywords, you're building a comprehensive, consistent identity across all the data sources these AI systems access.
Which means businesses need to audit where their information currently appears, identify gaps and inconsistencies, then develop a strategy for building authoritative mentions in the right places, and monitor how AI systems are actually interpreting and surfacing their business. We use specific testing protocols to check how different AI systems respond to relevant queries, then adjust the entity optimization based on those results. Because what works for ChatGPT might not work for Perplexity or Google AI overviews. They each have different strengths and data sources. ChatGPT relies heavily on training data. Perplexity emphasizes real-time web search. Google AI overviews integrate with their existing knowledge graph. Your entity profile needs to work across all these different systems. That complexity is exactly why most businesses are struggling with this. They're treating AI visibility as an extension of their current SEO strategy, rather than recognizing it requires a fundamentally different approach.
And the stakes are only getting higher. We're seeing more UK consumers using AI systems for business research and recommendations. Companies that aren't visible in these systems are losing opportunities they don't even know about.
What about measuring success? How do you know if your entity optimization efforts are working?
Regular AI system testing is essential. We run standardized queries across multiple AI platforms to track visibility and recommendation patterns. But you also need to monitor referral traffic from AI systems, which is starting to appear in analytics data.
And ask your customers directly. Many people now start their business research with AI queries before moving to traditional search or direct contact.
The feedback loop is crucial. Understanding how your customers are actually finding and evaluating your business helps inform your entity optimization strategy.
So what's the timeline for seeing results? This isn't going to change overnight.
Entity recognition builds over time as AI systems process updated information across multiple sources. We typically see initial improvements within 4 to 6 weeks, but significant visibility changes often take 2 to 3 months of consistent optimization, which means businesses need to start now, not wait until AI search becomes even more dominant. The businesses that establish strong entity profiles early will have significant advantages as AI recommendation systems become more prevalent. This is foundational work that compounds over time. And it's not just about being found, it's about being recommended confidently. AI systems are more likely to suggest businesses they have comprehensive, consistent information about. That confidence factor is key. When an AI system recommends your business, it's putting its reputation on the line. They favor businesses with clear, authoritative entity profiles that reduce the risk of making poor recommendations. So we're talking about building trust with AI systems, not just visibility. Exactly. And that trust is built through consistent, comprehensive entity information across all the touchpoints these systems use to understand and evaluate businesses. For UK business owners listening to this, what's the first step they should take this week? Test your current AI visibility. Go to ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Google and ask the kinds of questions your customers would ask. See if your business appears in the recommendations and how you're being described. Then audit your basic entity information. business name, services, location details across your website, Google Business Profile, and major directories. Look for inconsistencies that could be confusing AI systems. The testing will show you where you stand, and the audit will reveal the most critical gaps to address first. From there, you can build a systematic approach to entity optimization. And if this sounds overwhelming, that's exactly why we developed our AI visibility audits at Rank 4 AI. Sometimes you need an external perspective to see the gaps clearly. The businesses that recognize this shift early and take systematic action will have significant competitive advantages as AI recommendation systems continue to evolve and expand. Because this isn't going away, it's the new baseline for how customers discover and evaluate businesses.
So, to summarize today's key points, AI systems require comprehensive entity profiles, not just traditional SEO. Your business information needs to be consistent across all data sources these systems access. Local businesses face particular challenges with geographic recognition that require targeted solutions. And entity authority comes from quality mentions and references across relevant platforms, not just website optimization.
The businesses that treat this as strategic priority, not just a technical task, will be the ones capturing opportunities as customer behavior continues shifting toward AI-powered research and recommendations.
If you want to understand how AI systems currently see your business and develop a systematic approach to entity optimization, visit rank4ai.co.uk to learn about our AI visibility audits and entity optimization services. Thanks for joining us on AI Search Explained, and we'll see you next episode.